Well, for more on Amazon's seemingly unstoppable growth, I'm joined by Danilo Kawasaki from Los Angeles. Danilo is the co-founder, vice president, and COO of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So it's certainly come a long way. Just how did Amazon go from a self-proclaimed bookstore killer to a global company with $1 trillion valuation?
Yes, it's been a 21-year story in the making. Amazon went public back in '97, and Bezos basically laid out the plan from the very beginning. He was very clear on what he wanted to achieve, and he had a few main points that he stuck with it for the last 21 years. And the main one is just focusing on the customer. Everything he does, everything they think about is with the customer in mind. And secondly, just having a long-term view. He never let analysts or short-term mentality kind of get in the way of what he's trying to achieve long-term. So, we've seen amazing progress, one of the best stories we have in the market today.
Now, a lot of these tech experts, they all saw the internet coming. So what did Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos do to better position himself to beat out the competition?
That's a great question. Actually, yesterday, Bezos was talking with the Economic Club, and he mentioned about competition and how so many companies focus on the competition. And his answer to that was just focusing on the clients will take care of the competition. And because of his vision, he always had a leg up on the competition. He was always kind of 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead. So when he launched Amazon and started selling books, it wasn't until about 2 years later that Barnes & Noble's decided to copy that. And then he launched Kindle, and then Barnes & Noble's launched the Nook. So he always kind of took 2 years for them to catch up. And I think one of the main advantages that Amazon has or built is with the AWS platform. And that took 7 years for competition to come in and start challenging that. And that just gave them a tremendous advantage, a first mover advantage in that space. And AWS has become kind of the cash cow for Amazon.
Now, Amazon continues to dip its toes in different sectors. What would you say have been the most successful investments that Amazon has made?
Oh, that's hard to say. Amazon has done really well in acquiring companies, but they've also done really well in starting new ventures. Bezos is widely known for not being afraid of failing. And he actually, I think, is quoted as saying Amazon is one of the best places to fail. Because that's encouraged. That's how they find innovation. I think Prime, the addition of Prime, I think was back in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, was huge. The free shipping for, I think at the time was $79. I really got Amazon to the next level up. The acquisition to Whole Foods, I think, was a very strategic acquisition,
right.
I think it's paying off for Amazon.
Now, it hasn't been such great news for some brick-and-mortar retailers. They're really struggling to compete with Amazon in certain sectors. So is Amazon considered more of a partner or a threat when it comes to smaller companies?
It can be a little bit of both. It's interesting that a lot of Amazon direct competitors actually use the AWS platform to host their servers. And so in a way, they lose some, they win some. But when it comes to e-commerce, Amazon is the biggest player there is. I think they have about 50% of that market share, and but only 5% of overall retail market share. So, Bezos is a very ambitious guy, and he looks at that 5% number,
right.
and I'm sure he wants to see that higher.
Now, speaking of ambition, we know that it's an understatement to say that President Trump is not a fan of Bezos, but you also have other lawmakers like Bernie Sanders calling for more tax changes targeting Amazon. How do you see this added scrutiny affecting Amazon's growth going forward?
That's another great point. I think that's Amazon's greatest risk is scrutiny from regulations. It's hard to say what President Trump will do or not do. And he has in the past attacked Bezos and Amazon, mainly for political reasons. I think Bezos' ownership of the Washington Post is kind of a sore subject. But, you know, Bezos yesterday was asked the same question, and he answered with, you know, is just keep doing what he's doing. He's focused on the customer. He's focused on growing his market share, continue to innovate. Amazon spent almost $22 billion in R&D, research and development, last year. That's a lot of money for a company. Yeah, I'm sure that he's looking to come up with new ideas.
All right, thank you so much. Danilo Kawasaki there of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Management.